Hey, Chuck.
Hello.
We're getting new Macs.
Oh, 100%?
We're going to get 10 now and 10 July 15th.
Nice.
So,
That'll work.
and then those are going to be on order for your
Okay, cool.
Android class.
Yep.
And I think that's it.
And I have not put together. I'm gonna bring those Ozobots for you Monday, if that's okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I offered.
I'll grab as many as I can. I don't know if I'll be able to get 20, but as many as I can
That's
get,
fine.
I'll grab.
We don't have to have 20, but the other thing I offered up too was because she's got like a, I don't know, some sort of assembly in the afternoon at her school.
Okay.
And so I offered up Raspberry Pis too, not to give to them.
Right.
I said I'd come over and,
Sure.
and do a coding thing with Raspberry Pis.
All right,
so,
cool. Yeah, I'll grab as many as I can.
What I'll do is I'll just take them all, whatever we got.
Yep.
Do a little bit of everything and
That'll work.
Great. Awesome.
Cool. Sounds great. Thanks, Stephanie. Yeah. Come on in, Joe. Hey, buddy. How you doing, man? All right, there we go, bud. All yours, yeah. Yeah, you're a good summer, man.
Cool.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna practice so out here.
There you go. Now you can load your apps on that, right?
Yeah.
There we go.
Download it.
And all you gotta do is plug them in, it'll recognize it, and you can install them on there.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Sounds good.
I look forward to see you next semester.
Yep.
iOS.
We'll be here.
Okay.
Sounds good, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, we'll see you later. Hey, Danielle, do you have any video or audio on yours? Okay.
he also has,
There you go. So you doing? How's it going today? So how's it going today?
Good.
Good. Cool. Hello, sir. You want to present again tonight? Just kidding. Why not? Third time in a row, right?
so that's your license. And it should be running. Everything's coming together. Yeah.
Oh, Van Dorn?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I used to be on a robotics team with him.
Yes, yeah. He's a big kid, so. Yes. No, it's no. Yeah, I know. Okay, I will email.
All right, I'm going to get started. We've got a couple announcements. One, if you've not registered for summer or fall, I need to announce that. You go to myrbca.org, you can see all the courses for summer and fall for our division. Let's see. Graduation is next Friday. Anybody graduating next week? Cool. Awesome. Congratulations. Anybody else? No? Close? One more semester? How many has one more? One more semester? One more semester. All right, cool. How many's taking summer classes? All right. That's about everybody. All right. Well, cool. Well, so far we have, this is, no, this is not the pizza guy. Pizza guy's supposed to be here at 4:30. Okay, Danielle is already up and running. Kendall and Robert. I think the only one here so far is Danielle, correct? Yes. All right. All right. So what we will do here, I'll give about another minute or two for the pizza. We won't get started until pizza gets here. So if you guys want to go ahead and bust open what we have on the table right now, thanks for bringing whoever brought whatever there. Got water, Mountain Dew, root beer, and it looks like cheddar popcorn or something like that. Is that right?
Warning, this is addictive.
This is what?
Addictive.
It's addictive. Okay.
So
Got it.
if you got one, I'm like, you're gonna be like.
Right. There you go. Cool. We'll go ahead. Don't be shy. Go ahead and get up and help yourself with water at least, and whatever else you guys want. We're sorry here in a couple minutes. And next week during finals, I will be in the class. I think I told you this Tuesday. I'll be showing the presentations on the overhead. I'll bring some water and snacks for you. So if you have finals next week, you can stop in and grab a bottle of water at least before you go to finals. Sounds good? It says our pizza is on its way. Delivery tracker. They always get lost in this building. While we're still waiting, I do want to make one more announcement. It's not posted on the website or anything. We've not nailed down a day yet. We're going to do it, but starting in September, we're going to have pickup pack nights again. Oh, it's not the pizza guy. Hello? Yes. Yep, we're Woodward Technology Center, room 2620. Yeah, WTC building 2620. It's on the second floor. Okay, bye. Anyway, we'll be having that, and starting in September, I will bring up the website for that. And so here's the logo for Hack Nights. It is a national group. most college, four-year colleges have it. They have it on Friday night, which will not work for Rock Valley, I don't think, or for me. So, but the way it basically works is it only really works well if you have it for 2 hours. We tried it with 1 hour, just not long enough. Basically, just come in and work on projects, whatever projects you want to, or learn projects. Like 2 semesters ago, when we had students working together and programming apps that they were creating. Couple were working in drone technology. 2 were working in AI. And then we had local folks from the community that would come and present inventions that they've created and showcase it. And then local web developers and programmers would also attend the event. And it's going to be 2 hours, I know. And so far, it looks like probably will be either a Monday or Wednesday, I'm thinking. So you'll know more as the summer goes on. There is food provided each session. It's for the students, and you can come and go if you can't stay the whole 2 hours. And we have what's called a stand-up night, stand-up time, where you stand up and talk about what you're working on or what you'd like to learn. We've had students come in that know nothing about technology really and just want to learn about it. And if you want to present in 5 minutes what you're working on, you can definitely do that. So Hack Nights is what it's about. And so anyway, you'll know more over the summer. I'll post more on social media and on our website and stuff like that. And so it's a lot of fun. And one of the things I'd like to do in the fall semester, we haven't done it in about 2 years, is a war drive. And so what that is basically is where we come here probably have to be on a Saturday when we do it. And last one we had about 15 students show up, and we go about 5 miles from Rock Valley in all 4 directions, and all different types of apps from iOS, Android, laptop apps. All it does is gather SSIDs as you're driving, open or closed. You're not hacking anything. You're just collecting data. Come back to the campus. We dump it in a plotter, a map plotter, to see where all the dots are and see what are open and closed. And we can determine in a spreadsheet what percentage are open, what percentage are closed. And so there's a few of the projects that we did on this website, whitehats.us, and war driving is one of them. And 20% were open or web access capable, meaning it's totally open to for anyone to access that content. So anyway, I want to do one of those again. It'd be kind of cool. All right. Well, with no further ado, pizza's on its way. Let's go and do this. Anybody want to talk about anything? Have a story you want to tell before pizza gets here? Anything exciting? Nothing exciting.
I assembled furniture.
Huh?
I assembled furniture.
You assembled furniture from IKEA?
So yeah, some of it was from Denmark.
Oh, for your house or
Yeah.
Okay. How fun? Did you have any missing pieces when you were done?
No.
Or
No,
extra
it was
pieces?
Actually, it was all right.
Huh.
It still felt like just cheap furniture, though.
Right.
I always hated.
Yeah, I always get extra
for
few bolts and
the
nuts.
pre-built stuff, but
Want to know where they go.
my wife insists on buying all of this and bringing it home, and
Yeah, you get to put it together.
yeah.
Yeah, when our kids were little, we always, for Christmas anyway, we'd always buy something I'd have to put together, and it'd take, get it done the night before. It'd take be up all night basically doing it till right before they got up for Christmas morning, that type of thing. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's always fun.
I think the worst one I had to put together was like a big old slab. It had like a big old slab of granite on it. It was like just an extra countertop space.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It was,
That's just in your new home? The home you guys just
no,
moved
it
to?
was for the other place.
Your other, okay.
Older home.
Getting ready to sell it.
Well, I've been renting
Did
it,
you do something?
so no.
In my presentation,
Yeah.
she
Did you email it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I submitted it.
You submitted it.
Or do
Okay.
you want me to email it?
No, that's fine. I can get it this way. I forgot you were presenting. I didn't have you on the list here, so I totally forgot. Okay. So you submitted it in week. Doesn't matter which one. They're both the same.
I think it's 14.
They're both the same. Both of these are copies of the other. All right.
I can send it to your email.
No, that's all right. I get it. You posted it. You uploaded it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Here it is right here.
Ooh,
Correcto Mundo.
Ooh, ooh.
Is that it?
Yep. Awesome.
All right. Let's see that.
Ooh, look at that.
That it? Any sound or video or anything?
Oh, I wish I put sound in.
But you don't have to. I was just asking. You don't have to have it. I think every time I ask that, students feel like, oh, I should have put sound right. No, I'm not asking if you needed to. I'm just wanting to know if you did. Yes.
No, I mean, I
Pizza guy or gal? Hey, how you doing?
Good, thanks. How about yourself?
Good.
I actually regret doing that. I was working on a different operating system.
You sit over on my table.
So when it transferred over to Microsoft, some of the animations didn't cross over. So
Oh.
when it would pop up, it would just be a jumbled mess of just words.
oh god.
It'd be like, okay, what the heck am I doing here?
Thanks kindly.
It's like, oh.
I hope the animation is going
Thank you.
And the,
Yeah.
Things have changed. I'm getting here.
the funny thing is, I wasn't even planning on doing that. I just figured, oh, this makes sense. I just see what this can do. And it's like, oh, I didn't.
Okay. Anybody else presenting? I didn't have on the list. All right. Cool. So we got Yas first. You want to go first or second?
That would be great if I go first.
Danielle, do you
I
mind?
mean, it's fine. She can go.
All right. All right. So I'll be asked go first. Danielle second. Okay. Well, now that the pizza's here, let's do this. Let's everybody go up and grab some pizza, please. There's one pepperoni and one sausage, I believe. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and break it open. Don't be shy. Go for it. You guys can just sit those boxes side by side if you don't mind.
I have a fundraising.
You want
I have a fundraising event at 6.
A fundraising event?
Yeah, for Rock Valley.
Oh, okay.
The student service.
What time? Is it tonight?
Yeah, at 6. I know.
At 6, okay. Yeah, you'll be done for that. Okay. And what's it for now?
Is it for, it's for, we're doing a paint night and 50% of the ticket will be going to pay for 2 students to go to Rock Valley.
Oh, sweet. Oh, I think I remember seeing something on there, on the website, on Facebook or something.
For tuition.
Like for painting or something,
Yeah,
learning how to paint.
Paint night.
Okay, let's make sure this is on. Okay, pointer's on. All right, if everybody wants to start your survey, if you haven't already, in the week. Oh, is it locked? I didn't think I locked it. Okay, so advance, go back, and pointer.
Okay, I think that's Danielle.
Yep, it is.
Does she want to go first?
No, I was just testing it.
What is it again?
The right one is advanced, and the left one's go back,
They
and
go.
then the top one's pointer. Red,
Oh.
little pointer there. Cool.
Cool.
All right. Let's give you guys our attention. It's all yours.
They want in.
Hey, how's it going, buddy? Good. Hang on just a second. Well, yeah, our presentation. There you go. Oh, that's all right.
Trying to get her interested.
Yeah. Congratulations on life. Nice to meet you. Hang on, here's something.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. All right, I'll see you later. All right, yeah, go ahead. I think I'm just gonna stand here.
All right, so my presentation is about antivirus software and how it works. The reason that I chose this is because of my line of work. I usually have to constantly tell people how they work because they're a little confused. So during my presentation, we'll define what's an antivirus program, the history, the detection method, which one is the best, issues of concern, and the bottom line of my presentation. So what is an antivirus software? Oops, I think I skipped one. Well, let's go to history, I guess. So the first good-looking antivirus came out in around 1971, when the Reaper was actually a virus, but it was a good virus that was developed to destroy the creeper, which that was an actual virus. And then in 1980s, the true antivirus software era, which started with Avira, McAfee, Avast, Trend Micro. In the 90s, Panda, Dr. Solomon's antivirus software, which I never heard about that. Norton, AVG, Not32, Bitdefender, Kaspersky, WebRoot, and in the 2000s, of course, there's plenty of more of them, but I do not list. So be telling you guys about the detection method that are usually used with antivirus software. There are, of course, plenty. But the first one would be the signature-based detection. The second would be behavior-based detection, and the third would be difference-based detection. So the signature-based detection works like this. You got your antivirus software program with a predefined database with known viruses, code of viruses. And then the antivirus compares those signatures with the files when, doing scanning. Does the scanning and compares the signature code. It's a virus. Does it look like the same thing? There you go, that's a virus. So what it does, when detected, it quarantines the virus and destroys it. The second would be the behavior-based detection, which the antivirus software seeks to identify the malware by watching for abnormal suspicious behavior. Like, for example, the virus can be hidden in your files and you don't know about it. Why is not gonna play? That was the part of. I'm not sure why it's not playing.
Was something on loading?
Yeah, it's supposed to be playing. Yeah. Can I do it in here or no?
You can hit the left arrow on the Mac.
No. Jesus. It was a good one though.
Was it?
It was like a video embedded.
Oh, it was a video?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If I exit out of here.
Yeah, you can just hit the escape key on the Mac.
Oh, there you go. So I'm just gonna play it really quick. Cool, cannot play the media. Okay, I did not know that.
Must not have a player or something.
Oh, well.
That's okay. I'll upload this video. I'll upload your presentation so you can watch it.
Awesome. Okay, so for this one, I don't know why it's not completing it either. All right. So the first one was supposed to be a guy, normal guy, that turns around and looks like a tree because he blended in with the second one is a guy that has crazy looking, in his face. And the third one would be Steve saying, "You crazy." So that's like the antivirus stuff for you crazy. Let's go back to okay. Am I doing it wrong? No, I'm good. Okay, so with different space detection, scan the difference between the file components. The files are in Windows API, the NTFS master file table, and the NTFS on the disk. And so any addition or missing files from those three file system components, it flags it as a malware rootkit. That's when you use a different space detection. You can see here, let me see if I can do this. Here, there's a data mismatch between the Windows API and raw high data, which that's when the system scans those three components and it detects that there is something wrong, and that's when there's a rootkit or something. So which antivirus software program is the best? We're going to take a look at what to consider in an antivirus software program. First, you have to ask what you're trying to accomplish. Do you want protection from viruses? You want specific for rootkits or spyware, ransomware? Or you want additional features like parental control, password management, file protection, cloud backup, and all that. Cost. Do you want to spend this much money, or do you want a free one where compromise something against something? And compatibility and performance, which takes I know that plenty of the antivirus software, some of them are really stealthy, some of them are really very heavy on the system. It opens a lot of resources, takes a lot of CPU. And so do you want performance? Do you want very heavy security? So it depends on what you want on an antivirus software to do. Now, the issues of concern, of course, if you get antivirus software, unexpected renewal cost. Some people do not know that they agree. So, oh, my credit card was charged. The second one is rogue security application, which I've seen. Oh, I downloaded AVG for free, and it's actually turned out a virus. Same thing. Problems caused by false positive. We have two incidents in here. The recent one is September 2017, when Google Play Protect Antivirus started identifying Motorola's Moto G4 Bluetooth application as malware and causing Bluetooth functionality to become disabled. Now, also for October 2011, Microsoft Security Essentials removed the Google Chrome web browser. I remember that one. Rival to Microsoft's own Internet Explorer. So it was actually detecting that it was a Z-bot instead. And I know that there is one, but I couldn't locate that article. It happened like 3 months ago with Avira. But I don't remember what it was, and I couldn't find that article. And of course, system and interoperability related issues. When run an update, the antivirus software doesn't work. So that's one of the other issues. Effectiveness. So basically, if people say, why would I choose antivirus software? It's not 100%, but then again, the shot that you get at a doctor is not 100%. It's not going to protect you from the flu. It's only, percentage. Better something than nothing. New viruses. Now, they're actually doing like a proof of concept. It is not out in the wild yet, but there is malware that can be written into the GPU instead of it. So it would be undetected by your computer.
Something to look forward to.
Oh, yes. Exciting. So also damaged files, which I see that a lot in my line of work. Whereas the file got infected, the antivirus program removes the bad code, and the file, it's just, you can't open, it's garbage, blah, blah. Firmware and kernel rootkits. Antivirus software is not effective at protecting from firmware and motherboard BIOS from infection, unfortunately. Not all of them, just some. You have to be specific which antivirus software you want, again. Now, the bottom line is that antivirus software is vital. You need to have it, whether you like it or not. Of course, it's like having the doors of your home wide open for intruders and uninvited guests. So if I usually explain it to people how, like in real world, would be imagine if a neighbor coming over your house and starts looking at you, what you're doing, following you around, and you don't know anything about it. You don't know that it's there, but he's looking at you. You're going to shower, you're going to brush your teeth, you're going to do stuff, hiding your stuff. And there's like right there. So nothing damaging, but creepy, right? And when it turns damaging is when he sees you putting your Pokemon cards, which is the pot of gold, under the mattress and takes it. He takes the pot of gold and just say, I'm gonna keep them, but you have to do something for me. And that's when it turns into ransomware. So spyware turning into ransomware. That's how I explain it to people. And yeah, so make sure you're still stay protected.
All right, let's give her a hand. Good job.
I should have seen the video.
Good job, man. And yeah, you want to tell everybody where you work, by the way? We've noticed we might have mentioned it.
I'm a consultation agent
All right, Danielle. Yeah, so go by and see her. All right, so go ahead and help yourself to whatever's left. Did you guys wipe it out already? All gone? One piece left. Good. That's why I like it. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead and refresh your surveys. Okay, so it's best when you point it towards that and advance, go back, and then cool. All right. Give Danielle our attention.
Hi guys, so I'm Danielle and I'm going to be doing a presentation on many of the legal conflicts that exist in the field of IT. Really, I'm going to be going over the lawfulness of many of the policies I use, as well as some of the legal and ethical debates that exist. And so unlike other fields in IT, really, many of the laws tend to be really ambiguous, not easy for people to understand, like law or medicine or education, pretty clear cut, but not so much in IT. So like, for example, it was only like 6 or 7 years ago that we all found out that the government taps into people's phone lines in the name of national security. So people tend to really not be aware of what the laws are. So one of these main issues would have to be that of liability, which in one way there's a liability concern for people in that one of the main ways security professionals protect people's safety and their data is through surveillance. So in one way you have professionals concerned, like what if I'm violating people's privacy rights, whether it's intentional or not. Sometimes there could be malicious intent there. Sometimes they're just doing their jobs. Like, I know a lot of employers collect mass amounts of information about their employees and customers, so that's one concern for liability. The other one is kind of in the other direction, and it's that, say, a security professional, like I think a lot of us are going into data assurance, they implement a system that's meant to protect something, and it doesn't work, and a hacker gets through. You have to ask, like, who is liable, and if they are, how should they be held accountable? So, I think another big issue would have to be that of, well, actually, cyber insurance. That's something that many employers are using in order to deal with this threat, which cyber insurance is just a type of insurance that basically assists organizations in the event of a data breach or some other cyber attack. Ultimately transfers the risk associated with that onto the insurance, and it's especially helpful for smaller businesses that are just starting out, but definitely not restricted to them. Like, just in a few recent years, Facebook saw data breaches, so like even large companies are subject to these types of attacks. So that's definitely one legal issue that we will deal with in our careers. Another one would have to be that of access costs, which we just know is net neutrality. If anyone doesn't know, it's just the idea that internet service providers have to treat all data equally. They can't discriminate against certain websites by slowing down or favoring them, and they can't charge you extra for using certain services. So a good example of that would be, like, say net neutrality didn't exist in the early 2000s. If ISPs had slowed down video streaming sites like YouTube or Netflix may not exist. So it's obviously important. Sort of brief history of net neutrality would be, in the early 2000s, the FCC tried to stop multiple ISPs from slowing down or blocking services like voice over IP or VPNs, to which these battles went on all the way up until 2015, and that's when FCC managed to pass what's called the Open Internet Order, which granted us users the best protection they possibly could. I'd like to say it all ended there and all was good, but just 2 years later, the new chairman is actually an opponent of net neutrality, so he basically reversed all the progress we had just made. And I think one of the reasons that this battle has been going on so long is because of what's called the Communications Act of 1934, which, to say the least, it's a law that defines internet services really vaguely. So there's ongoing debate about whether internet services should fall under Title I or Title II of the document. And the Title I interpretation would favor opponents. The Title II interpretation would favor anyone who's for net neutrality. So I think that's a good example of what I said. Many of the laws used in IT are just really largely up for interpretation for people. A lot of good arguments for net neutrality exist. Like I said, it's good to keep the internet an open playing field, especially for businesses just starting out. Like, you can imagine if they have their domains blocked or slowed down, they may never really have a chance to grow. There's another one that's kind of more of an ethical debate, and people say, well, the internet's used for a lot of people to advocate certain things and for free speech, so should that be basically supervised by a few companies? People fear that it could turn into repression or censorship in that way. And that last point really ties into one of my last points I wanted to talk about, would be that of privacy, which I think we can all agree for the most part, things like cybersecurity and national security really do work to protect people's safety and to protect their data. But as we saw, like in the last decade, when Snowden came out and disclosed everything about the NSA's mass surveillance, it's definitely a double-edged sword. So the U.S. Patriot Act is the law that basically grants the U.S. government access to collect telephone data as long as it's relevant to an investigation. But the NSA's interpretation of that law is that they're allowed to collect digital information from basically anyone, anywhere, not just criminals or terrorists even. like the German Chancellor Angela Merkel was essentially spied on. So people who defend the NSA and what they do, they say, well, hey, if you haven't done anything wrong, you shouldn't worry. Then on the other hand, you have the opponents who are like, well, the laws can always adapt to criminalize what used to be illegal behavior, so you could be held accountable for something later on that you did online that you didn't know was illegal at the time. So I think it's really something of an impasse we're at between public safety and civil rights, and especially security professionals are trying to find a way to balance the two. And it's also important to keep in mind that other countries, like say India, for example, I know in 2014, a man behind a very pro-ISIS Twitter account was arrested, even though technically he didn't partake in terrorist activities. He did advocate for them on social media. So obviously that's an extreme example and it can't be condoned, but I think that's similar to what a lot of people here fear. They think, well, if the government's spying on me, they could find a way to prosecute me for something I did online or in a phone call. So, yeah. And it's also, I think I said the name, the U.S. Patriot Act is another law that's very up for interpretation that allows the government to do that. So anyway, those are just some of the main legal and ethical issues I think definitely relevant for everyone, especially since we're becoming so technology dependent, but especially for people going to the fields that we are. I think somewhere along the line, we're probably all going to be forced to take a side in one of these debates. So hope you all found it interesting. And those are my references. Thank you.
Good job. Awesome. Yeah, you can pretty much just count on that you are being surveilled in some form or fashion anywhere you go anymore. From stoplights to four-way stops to, we already know about airports, Walmart, but it's a privately owned company, so they can do that. But most four-way stops in Rockford, large four-way stops, by the way, if you look up, there is cameras on all those four-way stops that are recording continually all the time, which, as you mentioned, Danielle, the proponents of it is if you're not doing anything wrong, who cares? Going back to Yaz's point of, well, it's the same concept of, do we want our stranger in our house watching everything we do? Right. Is it, it is at best creepy. So, but at the same time, I guess the world we live in, and I definitely want folks to be caught before stuff happens. I think everybody wants that. But, at what cost do we give up our privacy? Yeah. And I think in the courts that really hasn't been battled yet much, but I think it will be in the future. Or the argument that when we went over that proton email, the presenter from TED that gave the presentation from CERN Laboratories mentioned in 20 years, it might not even be a conversation on privacy. We don't know. It depends on where people go with their thoughts about privacy. So what's your guys' not to be too heavy, but what's your personal thought on your own personal privacy when it comes to net activity, websites, your cell phone? What's your general thoughts on that? Anybody? Yeah.
It takes a lot of work to get to the level of privacy security that would be really necessary. So I just give up and take cursory measures to not just broadcast everything, but
right. Take precautions in.
Yeah, I take precautions, but the opportunity cost of really just getting away from everything is so hard.
Yeah. Well, even if you take out the surveillance part of it, anything you post pretty much is within seconds available to anybody. And that's, from news, any events that come up now, the social media folks, people are on Twitter and Facebook, get it out there before the general news people do. And it's already videoed and leaked out before they can do anything. before they can even broadcast anything. It's already, been videoed and leaked out. And I think one of the weirdest ones, or I guess not weird, but kind of a sick one, was a while back. A gentleman, I believe, videotaped. I know what it was. It was a mass shooting where he videotaped. Yeah, in Australia, where he streamed the event. Now YouTube and Twitter and Facebook took those videos down, but before they did, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people downloaded those videos already on their computers and on their servers. So, all that data is out there of what he did, and which I just saw, and you guys probably did too, just the kind of the PG-13 version of what happened. But I guess it was the raw version of it was pretty gruesome. So, little kids and grandmas and grandpas and stuff like that he shot down for, I don't know how many rifles and guns he had. It was an ungodly amount of weapons that he had, and he'd been storing them for a while, and he'd been posting before it happened. He was going to do it evidently. So, all this stuff is, I guess, part and parcel for security, and that we need it. We need people to take things maybe more serious than they do as far as law enforcement. And I think they do once it's been brought to their attention, but it's so much data out there. So much, I don't know about you, but how many calls do you get a day that are robocalls or marketing calls? We're blocking even individuals. We're blocking 78% of our calls a day that come in that aren't from anybody we know, right? And businesses are blocking about 97% of emails coming in. Phone calls, not as much, but emails definitely. And so we don't see the emails because our free email accounts usually block it before we see it. But,
Yeah, what Danielle pointed out, it didn't hit me. There are a few websites, like, for example, those that, like eBay, that sell, that allows you to sell stuff. There's one that is global. What is the name of it? I don't remember. But anyways, anyone that is not in security, it will just has to do. But someone that actually is looking for stuff, if you go in and look at fake accounts that are made.
Oh yeah, you're right.
For stuff that are local.
Right.
I realized that there is a chain of people actually doing fake accounts,
Yep.
meeting with people,
Mhm.
getting robbed, and it can keep.
Yeah. And eBay will just refund your money. is what they'll do.
I pointed out to the police.
Yeah.
But I don't think they have a cybersecurity division in here for those specific. I'm not talking about one incident. I'm talking about
Right. It happens a lot. Yeah.
That we could,
Well, I contacted, I believe it was not eBay, but one of the social. I know what it was, Audible. You guys know the Audible company. I think it's owned by Amazon, I believe. Anyway, I was getting emails that wasn't my email about accounts that I paid for. It was a lady with my initials that was in their system. And I called them and said, "This isn't me. I've not paid for this." It was a valid receipt that somebody was paying for. And I had my own Audible account, and the guy said, "Well, we can't. There's no way for us to trace down who created an account because we don't require validation of email when we set up an account." And this was like 2 years ago. Anybody can put in whatever email. So what she ended up doing was when she opened the account, she put in my email instead of her email, right? Which her initials were the same as mine. And it's an honest mistake. But if they were to add just one piece, which is validate that it's your email, meaning you have to check your inbox before you can set the account, that would solve a lot of those issues. And so, but they do a lot of times for convenience and also for lawsuits, to keep lawsuits. But anyway, good presentation tonight, and overall good presentations overall that everybody gave. So hope you enjoyed the class and learned something out of it. I know some of you are going on more into the Cisco version of network security and cybersecurity. And I definitely recommend that. Cyber law. And so a lot of the stuff we're going into, regardless whether you go into it from a network security standpoint, programming, IoT, AI, whatever, you're going to be constantly learning all the time. And that's one. And if you like that, you'll excel and do well. It's not one of these fields that when you're through a school, you're done. Myself, I go to 8 to 10 new trainings a year, and then are constantly keeping up on all the latest and greatest new, and still behind in areas. I only keep up on what I'm really interested in and what I'm teaching in and what I'm working on project wise. And so find your niche, go with it. And it's nothing wrong with having your eggs in multiple baskets as well when it comes to IT, different veins of jobs and things of that nature. It's always good to do. So if you ever get offered a job in IT that's not really something you're looking forward to working in, or you thought you would, probably a good idea to take it just for that experience, because you never know how it might help you down the road. So, but awesome. Thanks for bringing food tonight. I will be here next week. On Tuesday, I'll be here for finals. Thursday will not. So you can stop by and see me. So great presentation. You guys have a great summer. I'll see some of you over some 1 and 2 and somebody in the fall. So great job. If there's folks standing outside the door, would you tell them to come in, please? Because there probably is.
No, I wasn't too.
Yeah.
Actually, I did have something happen to me just